Welcome back to Wives on the Island. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jessica. And today we are going to catch up like we usually do. Our topic for today will be mom friends and making them and how difficult it can be. Then we'll talk about our pop culture topics. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I had a bit of a scary morning. I had to take my daughter for blood work. And mostly scary on my end because I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, this little baby, she's 2. This little baby's getting blood work. I didn't even know how to handle it. And my husband took my son, our son, to get blood work when he was like maybe 2.5, 3. And it was like really bad. Like the phlebotomist didn't know what she was doing, like all this crazy stuff. So as I've mentioned many, many times here, my daughter has a little bit of an attitude and whatnot. So I was like, listen, I don't know if I could do this to myself. And blood, not that blood makes me queasy, but just like needles and all of that stuff with my babies, like really freaks me out. Mm-hmm. So I told my husband, like, hey, can you be available? We'll go in the morning. And I really need you to like take control of this situation because like I will pass out. Like I will. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I got it. So we went to LabCorp because she is starting her pistachio and cashew therapy next week. So she just needs this all done before then. So we went and they were like, okay, have her sit on your lap, put her legs in between your feet, your legs. So I could like, have my thighs, like clamp her legs together. Mm-hmm. She's like, we're going to put her one arm like this and you're going to hold her arm down. And the other one, she would like, they gave her like a highlighter to hold. And then she held the highlighter. Mm-hmm. And Jess, on her arm, there was this vein, like clear just as day. There. Right there. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. Like, amazing. My husband's like, oh yeah, it's a good one. The nurse is like, see that? We're going to get that one. They put the needle in, the little butterfly needle. The blood starts coming out and it just stops. And we're like, and she's like, oh no. So they take it out and I guess the vein just like dropped, just went away, whatever. Yeah. So then we tried the other arm. Meanwhile, we'd like let her watch some video, like YouTube videos on my phone.
She wasn't even paying attention to it.
She wasn't making a peep. And then, so we do the other one. Then she gets another, the phlebotomist, the woman phlebotomist gets another one, a guy to do it. And he puts it in, nothing's happening, and they're wiggling it around. And I'm like, and she's like starting to look and like kind of move, but like nothing. And then finally they like move it a certain way and they get it, no problem. And even the phlebotomist was like, oh my God, I wish we had a lollipop. Like we don't even have stickers. We suck. She was so good. There are grown men up in here that like are ready to pass out and scream. And she did so well. She was like, oh my God, thank you. And we're like, yeah, I'm sure you probably saw this 2-year-old. And you were like, oh no. Like,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, so it went really well, and we didn't have an appointment, so we just waited like 40 minutes, and yeah, because like I wasn't expecting her appointment to be so soon with her therapy, so I was like, oh, I don't need to get blood work until 1, I know that we're definitely going to do this therapy, 2, until like the medicine is ordered, and then I get my appointment, and then it kind of happened so quickly, I was like, I need to go right now. Like this week, and they don't have anything until Monday, like appointment wise. And I was like, I don't know if that's too late to be there on Wednesday for a doctor. So I was like to my husband, he was already home for the morning because we had to go somewhere. And I was like, we just have to do it in the morning. So we got there before LabCorp even opened and there was a line.
Yeah, LabCorp is a mess. I went this year. Both of my daughters had to get blood drawn this year. The one thing was they messed up a little bit because I wanted is this sad? I don't know if you know it. I don't know my children's blood type.
I don't know either. I've asked.
And yeah, so I asked when my older one did her physical this year. I was like, can you type her blood? I was like, when you go, ask them if they could type your blood. So she was like, okay. And on the form, it said to type their blood, but apparently, I don't know what it was. I guess when I took her, they put the blood in a cold freezer or something, and you can't do that if you're going to type it. So they were like, do you want to go back? My older daughter was like, no, thank you. No. I'll be fine. I don't need to know my blood type. And I was like, next time we'll, but I don't know. You kind of
do that.
That's what I was saying. I was like, ma'am, I don't know your blood type. I looked, it's not on their birth certificate. I was like, how do I find out their birth certificate? I mean, their blood type. I don't know. And I don't know mine.
You don't know yours from pregnancy?
I don't know mine. I didn't know. My mom probably knows. No, they didn't tell me a pregnancy. Like, I don't know.
It should be on papers, though, because Yeah, it should be on like if you go to like your OBGYN and like it has to be well, you weren't pregnant in Georgia. Those are like the
No.
doctors you have now, so I don't know. Because I
Yeah.
didn't know my blood tape I didn't know my blood type until I was pregnant and then I had to get my regular blood work and it was just like on there, I'm B
Oh,
positive.
okay.
But and my husband is O negative,
Oh,
the one that
that's
can like
nice.
donate to anybody, yeah.
Right.
But so yeah, he has like a what they consider like a good blood
The
type.
universal
So
blood.
yeah, so I wanted to know what my kids have, obviously. And I remember when my son was born, I was like, where's his blood type? Because they were taking a lot of
Tests and
like
blood. They take
yeah,
a whole
yeah.
bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, what's his blood type? They're like, oh, we don't know. And I'm like, what? And even with my daughter, she was in the NICU for low blood sugar and they were testing her, all the time. And I was like, you can't get a little like, what's her
Get
blood
a little
type?
more.
So,
Grab her blood type. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know my kids' blood types either. I do know mine
Yeah.
and my husband's obviously, but I didn't know until recently.
You could do that
but-
pundit square box or whatever that they.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not doing that. Well, I don't know mine, and I don't even know if my husband knows his. Like thinking about it now, I don't know if we know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have to do it. So when I get my blood drawn next time, I'm gonna be like, please type my blood.
Yeah.
And anytime my kids do it, I'm gonna ask them again. But yeah, because it was on the form, and the lady was like, we couldn't get. There were two things that they asked for that they couldn't get because the blood got frozen,
My gosh.
and they couldn't
That's
do it.
weird. Yeah. But I'm so thankful that she did well because I was very, very nervous. She was just such a good little girl. And then I felt bad because then we got in the car and she was like, my arm hurts. It hurts. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I feel so bad. I was like, I know, baby. But because then, they have the tape on it.
They have the tape on it,
But
and then when you have to take it off, that shit,
yeah.
that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was rough. But then we got bagels afterwards and
that's good.
yeah, and then we went straight to the LabCorp, to the bagel place, to her preschool that she'll be starting at in 2 weeks to kind of like just see the classroom. We got to, ask questions that we have, see where she's going to be. And it's so funny. It's like funny, but it's not because like I'm here and I'm like, okay, how do you guys handle like potty training? What about like, do we bring lunches? Do I have to buy a book bag? How does car line work? Like for birthdays, do they come in and celebrate? She just has, we found out she has a pistachio allergy. How do those things? Do you guys share any snacks? All
Right.
these things. And then my husband's like, listen, unfortunately, this is the world we live on. What's your active shooter protocol? And he's literally like looking at the doors and he's like, solid wood doors, okay. Windows, okay. Do you keep
think
these
I ever
doors
thought of
locked?
that.
I know. And I'm like, thankfully.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like that. I mean, I know that when they're in school, they go through all that, but I don't think it was prevalent when
Yeah.
my kids were in school. But I don't know that I would think of that as like a daycare thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe obviously he thought about it when my son was going to school. My son goes to a private school though. This preschool is just 2 days a week, but it's in a church. And you know how sometimes they have those
yeah.
religious things. So I guess it is kind of more, granted it's not like a certain races type. It's not like a Jewish church or,
Right.
it's just a
It's just
regular
a
like,
church.
yeah, it's just a regular church, but you never know. Like,
Right.
so it was like good questions to ask, and I did feel good about it. And like I said, it's only 2 days a week, so it's not like, for 4 hours. It's not gonna be this big, long time, like a long time that she will be there. So I feel good about it, and she was really happy, and I'm just like, oh my God, my little baby's like going off. Like, I don't know, like I panicked.
You're gonna cry. You're gonna cry.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna be a hot mess.
100%. I like don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself. Like I'm gonna have 4 hours like to myself, like 2 days a week. Like what? Like
You're gonna-
for the first time in 2 years,
Yeah.
even more actually. I'm just I feel like it's gonna be a little bit of mom guilt, but it is what it is.
That'll
It'll be good
pass
for
quickly.
her.
That'll pass because you'll get so much stuff done. You'll be able to like do grocery shopping, and you'll be like, you know what I mean? Like you will get into a routine those 2 days, and
Yes.
it'll feel like that. Like it'll go by so fast. Those 4
I know.
hours.
I'm really looking forward to it because I was like, oh my God, I can clean my house like
Yes.
problem free. Like I just want to put away my clothes and not have to like worry about her making a mess or my son making a mess somewhere else. So I'm just so excited about that. And I found out who my son's teacher is for this upcoming school year because he starts in a couple days. And yeah, it's the one that we wanted. It's not his teacher that he had when he was in the twos program, but it's the original teacher we picked. And I really liked her assistant teacher, so I'm really happy about that. And his best friend from last year is in the class with him, so he's super excited. So yeah, I'm just really just happy. And the teacher that was his twos teacher, that's now the fours, the pre-K teacher, who I was like, oh, I want her as my second choice if I can't get my first choice because we already had experience with her. Her son is also my son's age, so he will be in class with my son as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so she already texted me. She's like, let's be class moms together. I'm like, yes. So I'm excited for this school year. I'm excited just, to be a class mom with her. I'm excited this is going to be his last year before he goes to pre-K, so I'm just going to try to cherish it. Now that my daughter's going to
I thought he's in pre-K.
It's his last year.
Yeah, and you said because he's going to go into pre-K. He's going to go into regular kindergarten.
He's going to go into kindergarten.
Okay, that's what I was like, yeah. He's doing pre-K twice?
No. It's his last year pre-K to go into kindergarten next year. So yeah,
so exciting.
I know. And then now my daughter's going to be away for 2 days that I can do those class mom things too and focus on that.
And not have to chase around another one. That's awesome.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm super happy about that. It's just going to be a crazy good school year. Our schedules are piled up. Just Monday, I got school. I signed my daughter up for gymnastics too. Just with the county, it was $40 for 8 weeks. But we have on Mondays alone. My son goes to school. She has gymnastics. My son has speech therapy and has swim. All on Mondays. So yeah, and then she has swim on Tuesday and then school on Tuesday as well. Wednesdays, every other Wednesday she'll have to do her therapy for her allergy stuff.
So it's every other week? It's not weekly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every other week. So yeah, it's going to be crazy.
It is. It's a lot.
It is. But temporary.
Be good.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have you been doing? Did you go to that Pilates class with your daughter?
No, we weren't going to Pilates. We were going to do it in my room on the floor. We weren't going to Pilates.
I thought you were going to a class.
I was going to do it on YouTube. We did not. Alyssa,
oh my God.
Had so much work on Friday. I thought I would. I was like, oh, we'll do it. And then 6:30, she was like, so we doing it? And I was like, no. I'm exhausted now. I was like, I had so much work I had to do. And so it's just been crazy. So we did not do it. But I just found out today because I went downstairs before we started taping, and I was like, I'm going to say goodnight. And I went downstairs to get a bottle of water. And so she's like, oh yeah, when I go upstairs, I'm going to do my ab workout, do my planks and something else. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, I do ab workouts every night before I go to bed. And I'm like, okay. So she's been doing it all summer. She does her own little ab workout, and I'm like,
good for her.
Yeah,
hey.
She
wants to look good for college.
No, this is my youngest.
Oh, this is
yeah, this is my youngest. My oldest, she don't give a crap. She's not doing that.
Well, she wants to look good for those senior boys.
I know, that's exactly what that is. So she went to today was their back to school.
Yes, orientation.
Come meet the teacher. Right? Let me tell you about this child. First, she's like, you don't need to come. Because I was like, usually it's always on a Friday. So I wasn't planning, and my work from home day is on a Friday. So I always just take off the morning and, do what I got to do. And I was like, I'll just go in late. And I was like, that'll be nice because on Tuesday we had our vendors in town, and so we weren't meeting with them until 12, and we were at the Battery, that's where we were meeting at the Battery. And I told my boss, I was like, I'm not going into work at my normal time. I'll just meet you at the job because it was we're doing an after work thing and all that stuff. And I'm and Tuesdays I run, so being up at 4:30 and then going to work, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So she was like, okay. So Alyssa, I ran at 4. We got up at 4:10 because my oldest daughter wanted to run with us, and she runs 3 miles, not 2. She runs 3 miles a day when she does her days. So we got up a little earlier. I showered, wrapped my hair because I washed it, and I was like, I'll dry it later. I fell asleep until 8:15. It was the greatest thing in the whole wide world. I was like, this
I was
is
hoping
wonderful.
You were going to say that.
Yes.
As you should.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I didn't have to be at the Battery till 12, so I was able to get up, do my hair. It was so great. But then on Thursday, when she was like, oh, my thing's on Thursday, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get up at, because we run on Thursdays. I was like, I'm going to get up, I'll sleep in, and then I'll go to work after I go meet her teachers. Mm-hmm. My youngest is like, I don't need you. I can do it myself. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
But you have to like drop off your updated immunization paperwork. I was like, then you're going to have to bring me back your paperwork for your medicine so that we could make sure that you have medicine at school. She's like, I got that. And I was like, okay. So she did it herself. Yeah, it was so funny because my oldest had to work, so she had to drop my oldest off at work, take the car, and go to the school. And then my husband came home early, so he met her at my oldest daughter. He met her back at my oldest daughter's job so they could leave the car for her because she closes tonight.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, though, because of Wonderful Life 360, my youngest is a speed demon.
Not she's Emma Watson.
Right. Right. Hold on. No, worse than Emma Watson, because Peachtree Industrial is 45 miles an hour. This heifer was doing 61 miles an hour. I said, ma'am, you can get a speeding ticket, and if you get a speeding ticket, we take away the car. Like, you have to work towards it. Like, you're going to, and she's like, oh, there were no cops. I had Waze on. And I was like, Waze is not always, like,
it doesn't even about the ticket.
Cops. Yeah. She didn't care. She was like, I felt like I was going slow. And I was like, you weren't. And she goes, well, all the other cars. And I was like, no, I ride on Peachtree Industrial all the time. I don't think I've ever hit 61. I was like, it's
really?
Just, yeah, I've never hit it because it's 45 miles an hour. It's 45 miles an hour. So maybe I've gotten up to like 55, 50. I'm not going to lie, going to work, I hit like 60 because there's nobody, but like it's usually packed. So I was just.
So Life 360 like, hey, like does it know the speed limit and like, hey, you're going over? Or is it just
and it says you get like a little hazard sign and it's like risky behavior.
Oh my god! Honestly, thank God those things did not exist when I was younger, because it would have been like ding, 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 all over the place.
Oh my god! Yeah, and it tells you like where you are. Like it'll be like,
oh yeah, no.
She has arrived at Jersey Mike's. You know what I mean? Like, so I know when she's at work. Okay. And then it's like, she's at home. And then, like, I actually got an alert saying she's at her high school. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, it tells you when they stop and where they are. And so I was like, oh, girl.
My mom used to be like, where are you? I'd be like, I am like 15 minutes away from home. That notification would be like, she is a liar. She's not. She's still at her boyfriend's house.
She's an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Literally.
It's bad traffic.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it would just wouldn't work. But yeah. So she's super psyched. She went and met all her teachers.
Good.
Yeah. She got all of. I was like, look. This is all I need. If you're gonna do this and you want to be grown, I need your list. Because, they don't, in high school, you don't know this, but in high school, there's no list. They give it to you, like, when you go to each class, they make you, it's a QR code, and it tells you, like, what they want.
Like the day of?
Well, they give it, usually if you go to open house, like, you'll get it, it's usually, like, the day before. But
gotcha.
Then, but she has one, she's taking AP sculpture. She's such a bad, she's so bad at art, but she loves the class and she loves the teacher. So she was like, it's an AP class and I'll, she goes, as long as I work hard, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as I work hard. So I was like, okay. Yeah. But he sent an email like 3 days ago with everything that she needs. So my husband already ordered all of that on Amazon. So everything else we pretty much order on Amazon, or we'll hit up Walmart and pick it. Cause like right now everything's like 25 cents, 35,
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Nice. She bought she didn't want a backpack this year. She wanted like a tote bag. And the tote bag has a built-in like where you could put your lunch, like it's insulated.
Oh, okay.
Insulated. So she was like
isolated.
I know.
An isolated insulated bag, yeah.
An isolated insulated bag. So that's what she got. So she was like, I already tried it. My computer fits in there. All of my stuff will fit in there. And they don't do textbooks anymore. So it's not like she has to carry around like 7 textbooks. It'll be good.
My neighbor's daughter starting kindergarten, she was like, oh my God, like I have to download all these apps between like Parent View and ASP and this and that. And I was like, oh my God. I was like,
and Class
remember
Dojo.
all of this? Yeah. I was like, remember this for next year because I'm going to need help, But yeah, it's overwhelming.
It is. It's a lot. We have Parent View, which is nice. And then I got, for my older daughter, I got an email today, and it was like, sign up to be part of like her school's like parent list. And so thankfully, because I've asked my daughter, Do you have like a packing list for college? Like, did they give you any recommendations on what you need? Oh, no, nothing. She was like, I just know like certain things I need. And I was like, but there's like no packing list. This is like for parents who've never done this before.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's no packing list? She's like, no. So I get the thing, I sign up, and it's like packing list for moving into the dorms. And I was like, bitch.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I didn't see that. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's on the same portal that I can see, that you can see. So now I
When
have a
does she
list.
move in?
The 15th of
I
August.
feel like that's late.
Her classes start on the 18th, which is why I always thought freshmen, it would have to be there like a week or two before. But apparently not. That's a little
Oh,
exciting.
I'm excited for her. It's a new adventure, new friends.
Yeah. And she's
I know you're probably not as excited.
No, I'm super excited. The one thing I want is like, because I didn't do it, I want my kids to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I went to community college, so I lived at home with my parents. I didn't live on campus and have a dorm and get to do all that stuff. So I want her to like live her best life and do all of that stuff. So I'm super excited for her.
I love that.
I'm going to be depressingly sad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I know it's going to be sad, but I am so excited for her because that was my big thing. Like, my youngest is like, oh, I'm going to live here. I'm going to go to the college right up the street and, like, live here. I don't want to incur debt. I just want to, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, responsible to
Yeah.
you
but
know, but
I want her to,
yeah.
I'm hoping that if she sees, like, what her sister does, then she'll be like, oh, maybe I do want to do that. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Yeah,
Or
maybe like I mean, this is a dumb question. Do they have community college down here?
They don't, but what they do is they have a lot of campuses that you don't have to live on. So like they're like Georgia State has different campuses around different areas, and you can go to that and commute. Technically, Kennesaw is a commuter college. Even though they have dorms, it's a commuter college. So it's more commuter colleges. They don't do community colleges, just commuter colleges.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for her though.
Me too.
It's gonna be nice.
Super excited. So I have a show recommendation, and maybe you've seen it, but
I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
Over the weekend, Hunting Wives.
Yes, I knew you were gonna say that.
Girl, so good. It is so good.
My sister-in-law
crazy.
texted me about it.
Yes, it is. It is so crazy, and there's a lot of twists and turns, but it is so good. I binge watched
it was a
all
book
Sunday.
First.
It was a book,
finished
and apparently I finished it. It's only like 8 episodes, so I literally I was literally folding clothes, cleaning my room. I had to pause it when I cleaned my bathroom, but I binged it. I spent all day in my room on Sunday just watching it. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I don't care. I wasn't going to. I just watched the first episode, and then I was like, I'm hooked. I need to watch it.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
My sister-in-law texted me like literally 2 days ago, and she was like, have you seen all this like stuff about Hunting Wives on TikTok? And I said no, and she's like, we just started it like 2 days ago, and she's like, it's a little pervy. I was like, and she's like, but it's like really good. And I was like, no, I heard it was a book though. First she's like, yes. She's like, I was like, man, I truly like don't have time to like watch TV anymore. Like if I do, it's like the documentary we watched like 2 weeks ago, like something like that I could like do in one night. Like even we don't really do movies anymore. It's just like one of those things. Like
I get it. When
working
you have
out,
little
cleaning.
kids, it's hard.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really watch, but I might have to try. And you know what's hard when I watch something with my husband and then I gotta wait for him? Not the same. Especially my 4 hours I have opening up twice a week.
Right. I wouldn't even tell him. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he'd like it. I don't see him liking it. It's very. I mean, he might like some of it because it is. There's a lot of lesbian loving in it, and I don't know. He might like that, but it is. And
his
the thing
sister's
is
a lesbian.
Yeah. Okay. So he might not like that. You know what I mean? Like but it does have that. But it was. I heard that it doesn't follow the book.
Okay.
So like, there's a murder in it, and
recommend.
apparently the killer in the book is not the same killer in the movie or something like that. Or there's somebody's not the same. So
okay, don't ruin it for me. But like at the end of, is this like a 1 season thing, or is it like
it's got to be a 2 season? But you do find out it closes the book, like it closes the storyline, and then it kind of opens, and the second one opens kind of like a new storyline. So
Gotcha.
if they didn't do a second season, you'd be fine because there's like nothing hanging out and lingering.
Okay.
But well, to me, I think that there was a little bit of lingering because while it wrapped it up for you, there wasn't a lot of explanation. Like I needed more explanation as to why things happened the way that they did. However,
do you think they'll do that in a season 2? Or
I'm
is
hoping
it just
they do. The way that they ended it, I assume that there will be a season 2.
Okay. Okay.
And because it didn't follow the book so strictly, they can do a season 2, even if the author didn't write a second book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I knew you were going to say that as soon as you're like, I have a show recommendation, like the way you just said it. And I didn't think about it, like, because I know you mentioned you have a show recommendation earlier, and it didn't, like, click until the way you said it there. I was like, oh, I know exactly what she's going to say.
Yeah. So, yep, it was so good. But I did want to tell you this, too. I know we didn't talk about it. It had just popped up in my head. So, remember how I told you that the Amy Bradley had, like, more stuff to it? There was like more stuff to it, and I watched this episode on Hulu. It was like Disappeared. It was like one episode, and so apparently the show is all about different people who like have gone missing, which I can't watch. I refuse to watch because on almost every, like when I was scanning through the things, it was a woman, and I was like, I will never leave my house if I watch all of these. Yeah, because it was all women. Like there were no men disappeared. I mean, there might have been, but all the ones I saw, it was like this, pretty girl on the cover, and I'm like, no, thank you. But I have gone down like this whole like Amy Bradley rabbit hole because I watched Disappeared, and some of the story was very different than Netflix.
Ooh,
so apparently they hired a PI like early on, and he took them for their money. He told them that he had found her and he was going to extract her and he needed extra money. And then apparently somebody that he hired, I guess the guy worked for him, but he wasn't paying the guy good, told them that, like, he's down here, like, buying girls and, like, having, like, living it up on your dime, pretty much. Like, he had a hotel and stuff like that. So they ended up finding out that he stole from them. So that was, like, super sad.
That is sad.
It made it seem like the Disappeared kind of told us, like, the parents and the brother and the dad went back to Curacao a bunch of times to look for her on their own, which I feel like the Netflix documentary did not tell us because it made it seem like
they went once.
They went home and then they went, it went once. But then somebody had like the police report, I guess like a crime documentary, like did a podcast, did like a story on it, and they had the transcripts. The dad on the original transcript when they were talking to the FBI or when they were talking about it, the dad said that he went to the club and got both of his children at 3:00. Like, remember how they said that the brother came home first and then she came home after and then they went out on the balcony?
Yeah.
On the thing, they said that the dad went and got them because it was 3:00 and they weren't home yet. Then something happened and they were all out on the balcony.
Well, that's suspicious for the dad then, no?
Yeah, then the dad, so in that, the dad said he was the last person to see her alive. The brother went to bed, and then, but if you got up at 3:30 and he went and got the kids, then they all were out. The three of them were on the balcony. Then the dad went to sleep. Did you really see her at 5:30? Like, it just makes me think. Like, it just makes me think that listening to all those stories makes me think that she jumped or she went. Somebody pushed her over.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's how, like I said, I went down that rabbit hole, and when they were like, he went to the bar and he got them back, and they, and then he was the last person to see her because the brother went to bed, and he was the last person on the balcony with her, and then he saw her feet, and then he said that last time, he said in the original, the last time he saw her feet were at 4:30, not 5:30.
Yeah.
And then when he woke up at 6. So like I said, I don't know. But
I mean, it was so long ago too. Yeah.
But it was very different, and I feel
interesting.
And Netflix left out a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like,
why wouldn't you tell us that they went back?
They went back.
It made it seem like they were not really caring people.
I agree. That was like my husband's like biggest thing. He was like, I would have like moved there like half the year and just like
Right. I would have been in Barbados. Like, I would have been in every island that you told me about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said,
Interesting.
to me, the fact that they left so early really bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Speaking of, though, do you
yeah.
want to mention the whole brother leaving her at the nightclub?
Yeah, I have to tell you that I got more after I sent you what I sent you.
Okay.
So I texted my brother because I was very adamant in the last episode that my brother would never leave me at a bar drinking on a cruise. So I sent him a text and I was like, just a hypothetical. Me and you are on a cruise with mom and dad. Would you leave me at a bar? And he goes,
Depends.
it depends. He was like, are you at a bar on the cruise? Like, is it a family cruise? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, those are lame. I'll leave you there. And I was like, really? And he was like, right, we're not at port. We're not like out at port because I wouldn't leave you like on an island in a bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but, and then he's like, well, how, then, so he was like, yeah, I would leave you. And I was like, wow, I definitely thought you wouldn't leave me. And then he, like later on, I guess he read it and again, and then later on, so he's like, are you drinking? And I was like, yes. And he goes, oh, then I'm definitely not leaving you. You can't hold your liquor to save your life.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I wouldn't leave you either. And he's like, I would be fine. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want somebody taking advantage of you. And he's like, because you'd stop that. And I was like,
yeah, right.
He was like, if you're drinking, I'm drinking, we're screwed.
No, I don't know. You might.
Right. I was like, somebody could take. I would definitely. I would take somebody down for my brother.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
I don't care how big my brother and my children. I will take you down in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he was like, I mean, he was like, is it like a cruise karaoke?
There were a lot of variables.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
like,
variables.
Sir, just say no. You wouldn't leave me. But your brother is like
My
the brother of
brother.
the year. What did he say?
My brother, I forget his exact words.
He said
but
he would never leave a woman in a bar alone. That is the kind of response I was looking for.
Yeah, he goes, no, never leave any females in the club unattended. LOL.
See? There we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. My brother doesn't love me, but it's okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, it hurt my feelings. I was kind of like, wow.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my other brother, because that was I have two brothers. I have one that's 25 and one that's 20. That was a 25-year-old answer. My 20-year-old brother, he'd be like,
Bye.
Wouldn't even look back. No questions. He'd peace out so fast. To be honest, I don't even know if he'd come with me. Never mind leaving me. He wouldn't even try to come with me. No, he would be like, you're on your own. Kick rocks, you know?
What's so funny about that? You are so protective and like love him so hard.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because everything you do probably annoys the shit out of him.
Oh, probably.
But it's hysterical because you would move heaven and earth for that child, and he's like, just take her.
Yeah. I honestly feel like, because I feel like our relationship has, as friends do, which we'll move on to, and mom friends, but like even with siblings, it's like him and I have a big age gap. We're 11 years apart, and like now, how old am I there? I'm like, 6-7 years ago, we were in very different spots. He was a lot younger. We were so close growing up. And now I feel like we're moving away. And now I'm closer with my other brother who's 25, who's engaged, getting married, wants kids. So we're just like more in sync on that spot. I mean, like my brother, my younger one, my 20-year-old, like he literally will like text me for my birthday, for Mother's Day. And that's probably it. Like Christmas now.
He's 20.
Yeah.
He's 20. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing. It'll come back. He'll come back to you.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
It's just
we're
so
in that
funny.
phase. Yeah, it is. I love him so much. I think he's the reason why I am like the mom I am today. So I do thank him for that. But right now I'm just a little closer with my other brother, it's been nice. But yeah, he would protect me, and then the other one would be like, "You're on your own, girl." Like, don't know what to tell you.
Take her. She's getting on my nerves. She'll leave me alone if you just go with her.
Literally.
So that's so funny with them. So those are our brothers. Now you see what we deal with. But they love us. All of them love us, even though some of them would leave us in a club and some of them would protect us. So that's good. Okay, now moving on, mom friends. So I feel like this is such a broad, like, so many things happen, like, with mom friends. I don't know about you, but I struggle having mom friends.
I feel like making. Is it making the mom friends or keep?
Well, mine's making, but probably keeping because I'll explain that. But like, I feel like the best mom friends that I had, and when I say mom friends that their children were the same age, like they went to school, like we were, like you said, class moms, like that kind of stuff. I was a Girl Scout leader. You know what I mean? Like it was like a Girl Scout mom leader. In New Jersey, I had the best group of mom friends. When I tell you that those women were solid, they were awesome. I had a really close, really good friend that we did everything together because she had 3 kids, and I have 2. So our older ones were the same age. Then my youngest and her middle one were the exact same age, and then her youngest she was just along for the ride. Like, she was the greatest. And her and my oldest daughter have the same name. So it was just like she literally, and I mean, when I tell you she was the greatest person. Yeah. She used to work.
Okay. That's what that's what I thought.
And it was so great because we had moved to New Jersey like the 3rd week of school. Like, it was like the 3rd week of school. But meanwhile, my daughter had already been in school for like a month and a half because we moved from South Carolina. And, in the South, we're starting school on August 4th. You know what I mean? So in Jersey, you don't start until after Labor Day. So when we moved, it was like 2 weeks into school. This lady called me and was like, I heard that your daughter's going to be in my daughter's class. This is my name. They're going to have like this open house day if you want to come. She goes, I have a younger daughter and I heard you have a younger, like, she knew all this stuff about me. And she was like, you can sit in the car with my daughter and I'll go visit our kids and then I'll watch your daughter. She didn't know me from Adam, you know what I mean? And she just called and she was like, and then my daughter's doing soccer and she's doing Girl Scouts. I could show you how to like sign up. Like, it was so sweet that she just kind of like engulfed me in her friends, and like she knew everybody because she had started the school year with everybody, but she just invited me in and we just became friends, and it was like a rock solid group. Like, I loved them. Yeah, and it was just so great. And the reason that I say, like, we're still friends, like, I still talk to her every once in a while, but I'm not as close as we were, and that's partly my fault, because I'm going to say I'm not a good keeper up with friend. Like, I don't know if it's my ADHD. I have that, like, if you're not with me, I kind of forget about you, but then when I'm with you, I'm all, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it is. Like, even my best friend in the whole wide world, I think I might talk to her 3 times a year. But when we're together, it's like we're 16 years old again. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we've never skipped a beat. It's just we have lives. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like when I moved from New Jersey, we kept in touch for a good 2 years, and then like during COVID, we just kind of fell off. We still keep in touch. Like, so funny, her oldest daughter and like I said, our oldest daughters are the same, so they both graduated. They went to prom like 2 weeks after each other. They had the same exact prom dress, just a different color.
Oh my God.
It was
hers
literally
purple?
Hers was like a seafoam green, and my daughter's was like a dark blue, but the same exact dress.
That's so
like, what
funny.
are the odds of that? And they, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, that's exactly. And then she took a picture of her daughters together, and again, our oldest were really good friends, but our youngest were like BFFs. They both went to speech therapy together. They both had like ADHD. Like, they were just like best friends from the time that we put them together. So when she posted the picture of her daughter at prom, it's like her daughter's all dressed up, and then her middle one was in like sweats, right? Because, I wasn't here when my daughter went to prom. So when my mom took a picture, my oldest daughter's in her prom dress and my youngest daughter is in a pair of sweats. So like, I sent her the picture and I was like, how funny is it that our children are still the exact same person? And, so it's like, I miss it. I wish we grew up. But then when I moved to Georgia, I didn't make mom friends. And part of me feels like it's because when I was in Jersey, I was a stay-at-home mom. Yeah. And my friend was a stay-at-home mom as well. We worked part-time, like, you know what I mean? Like, we worked part-time, but we were class moms. We were stay-at-home moms. You know what I mean? We went to Costco together and did our shopping together. Like, we did everything together during the day, and then we worked at night together. Yeah. So it was like we had so much fun, and we, like I said, we we would bring our Girl Scout stuff that we were going to do the next day. We would bring it to work and like work on it while we were working.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I just don't feel like when I moved to Georgia, one, I had to work. So it's very hard when you're a working mom to make friends. You know what I mean? I had a babysitter that would take my kids to sports. So I didn't get to know like the sports moms because with traffic and stuff, I wouldn't get there till like 6:30. I just didn't I didn't fit in, and I didn't make the mom friends in Georgia. So I'm going to be honest here. I have work friends. I don't have mom friends. You know what I mean? And now my children are in, my daughter's going to college, so I don't need to make any mom friends there. And my younger one's in 11th grade. And
will be going to college.
And as much as I love her, she doesn't have a lot of friends. So I'm not going to be friends with them.
I'm cutting that part out.
Yeah. She knows that she doesn't like people. So she doesn't have a lot, you know what I mean? Like she has a close knit of friends, but, I don't know their parents.
Yeah. So do you think, obviously being a stay-at-home mom, being a Girl Scout leader, you made friends and obviously like work, but moving, I feel like definitely takes a toll on a friendship for sure.
It's hard.
Because that's where I feel like I've still remained pretty close with all of my friends back in New Jersey. Obviously, I've made like new friends through work here as well. Obviously work is how we met each other. Right. But I feel like out of all my work friends, some of them have moved back to New Jersey, and it's just kind of, like you said, out of sight, out of mind kind of deal.
Yeah.
I guess like you, it's always been a little different though. So even though we don't work together anymore, but for me, I feel like I've got more friendships, and not, I would say more recently rather than like as of 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, my son started in the twos program at a private school, and I was class mom because I was like, oh my God, my first kid. I want to like be involved. And there were 2 other class moms who volunteered with me, and we became friendly with them. And then his teacher that I mentioned earlier was really cool. I was like, I really like her. She was younger. She's like the same age as like my husband's, like just 5 years older than me. And we just like really hit it off. And then as soon as like last day of school, like friend request, like all the other moms too that I was class moms with. But like it is what it is. I just had a newborn. I was doing all those things. So I didn't really like put myself out there. This past year, I will say like now my son doing a second year pre-K 3, so to say. I was like, what do I do with my daughter? Like I need to like get her out of the house. I don't know what to do. So I joined a mom's club that is like all over the country. You just go to like momsclub.com, I'm pretty sure, and you just put in your zip code, and they have ones for specific areas that like a couple of zip codes fall under. And literally it's like a whole calendar of like play dates, going to parks, going to like play dates at somebody's house. They have like coffee dates for the mom. Sometimes they like reach out to these little independent like indoor play things like, hey, there's 15 of us. Can you cut us a deal, like a discounted price? We're all going to go close down just for us. And it's been really nice because I've met so many moms that have kids my exact same age, but like 2 kids exact same age as at mine. And we're like into the same stuff. We do a book club, mom's night out. So I was able to find mom friends that way. Now, have I, like when I go and I'm like, oh, hi, this so-and-so, hi, so-and-so, and I could chat with all of them, have I necessarily like, hey, do you want to hang out with this friend group? No, but like there is a couple of them that I definitely would, just like with the schedule, it's just not there. But I've always kept in touch with one of the moms that I was class moms with the very first year. And we actually just had a play date. The kids have not been with each other for a whole school year, and they will not be with each other again this year. But I don't know, there's just something, we just like click, we get along. And she's like, do you want to like get together? Like, we just got to get up together. I was like, yeah, I'm free next week. So we hung out this week, and the kids get along well. They're both like September babies, so they're older for their grade. Right. And yeah, it's just like so easygoing, and it's like nice that it's not a forced thing. It's like very even. I want to talk to you. Where not that I ever feel like my mom's club is I have to talk to you, because you don't have, you just move on to the next person if you don't like anybody. Not that there's anybody I don't like, but like with this, it just felt nice. So I'm actually excited to, and like you said, it's easier when you're a stay-at-home mom because you're doing all the sports, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're a class mom. So I'm excited to be doing that because My husband actually said, he's like, you just need somebody to talk to. Because when he comes home, I'm like, so, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And he's like,
Yeah.
like, chill. And I'm like,
I need
know,
a
but I have
break.
so many things. Yeah.
And you're like, you got a break driving home. That's
yeah,
your break.
literally. And I like, there are some things, like, especially with everything going on with my daughter's, the allergies, speech therapy, all this, there's things I need to talk to him about. And like, I have to literally write it down. So I like remember these topics to talk to him about. So as much as like sometimes, yeah, I don't really want to talk to him, but they're like, sometimes I do.
Right.
And then there's sometimes I need to talk to you about things.
Right.
But it's been nice. And I will say too, we went to, they have family nights for the moms club where the husbands go to, because the moms thing is only for part-time moms or stay-at-home moms, because a lot of the play dates are during like school times.
Right.
So sometimes they do family nights and our husbands come, and my husband hasn't found like another husband other than one maybe that like he really clicks with, and that like I click with the wife as well, or it's just the kid's not the same age, because there was one couple that my husband was like chatting with, but they had like a younger like baby, and it's just kind of hard when you're on different pages. I mean, sometimes it's like easy to like hang out with older kids so maybe it was easier for her because my kids were older. Yeah, because like, I mean, I've gone like to your house and your kids, I mean, your older daughter was like playing with my kids and stuff. It's just easier like that.
Yep.
But I finally found somebody that I'm like, oh, she's really cool. Her kids are literally the exact same age as mine. And then we met her husband, and I like look over and I'm talking to her, and I see my husband and her husband like talking and laughing, and I'm like, it's like we found like a family, like we found a cool couple that's like he's interested in talking with. So it's nice, but it's hard to like maintain those friendships too, because even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you have doctor's appointments, you have sports, you have schools, you have like all these other things. You have your own doctor's appointment, your own things.
Right.
You want to work out, you're tired, you still have like a household to maintain. So just like maybe meeting other moms is easy, but like actually creating a friendship is the hard part. But
Right.
I know you mentioned like you're not really a good like keeper-upper. I like to think I am. I would say.
I think you are. I think you're a good keeper.
I think so too. It's like I do find it a little more like it's definitely harder right now with the 2 kids and everything. And then I'm like, oh, do I really have time to like? I have no problem being like, hey, how's it going? How are you? Miss you. But then like the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 texts afterwards, that's my problem. So I always feel like I'm good at keeping up. It's just the following up after my keeping up is a little difficult. But I do always try to, with all my friends.
But I also feel like if you have kids, like if you have children, you know that that's the case. Like when me and you text, there are sometimes where like we could go 8 texts in a row, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then neither of us will hear from each other for like 4 hours, and then we'll like pick back up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just, nobody's offended by that. It's because we know that we have lives. You know what I mean? Like things happen. We have to deal with our children, and we have like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know you run in the mornings. Yeah, like I know you're an early bird and I'm more of an owl, so I'll just text you, and I know it doesn't wake you up, but like I'm not like, she didn't text me back, like I know you're asleep, So it's like it's just like she'll get back to me in the morning.
That's what it is. Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah. But I think it's just so funny because it's hard. Like you said, I think it's harder to maintain. It's harder to maintain, but it's also hard. I think it's hard, like, to find somebody that your husband likes. That's another thing, because if you want to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Because like my younger child, my husband doesn't like a lot of people. So it's very hard to... It's very, like, he's social when he needs to be, but he's an introvert. So my husband is fine, like, staying in the house and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And that sucks if, like, people can do play dates on the weekend. Like, it didn't bother me when I was in Jersey. I would just take the kids and be like, peace out. You relax. But here, it's like, I didn't want to cut into my weekend time if my husband didn't like the father. You know what I mean? Like, this is the only time I get to spend. Like, I know it seems because we work at the same building, but we don't talk to each other. We don't see each other.
Yeah.
We don't drive into work together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is no time that we are together at work.
Yeah.
So it's like those were my weekends. So I didn't want to do things, and that's when a lot of people want to do stuff on the weekends, and it's like, nah, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
So
You know,
it's
funny.
just hard.
It's funny that you say a lot of people want to do things on the weekends, because I kind of find the opposite for my
Really?
like personal. Everybody wants to get together during the week, and sometimes it's depending on where we go. It can be difficult for me with two kids and just with my daughter being a little more stubborn sometimes. It's just rather sometimes just have my husband come along and then we do something as a family together and happen to see like friends. But it all depends. It depends on like what it is, what time, you know, who it is, because there are some times where I'm like,
No.
you know.
Yeah.
So it just like all depends, but it's just so hard to keep the mom friends. But I think, like you said, your friend that you met in Jersey, I think it's really important to have people like that, to be like, hey, I want to like, and you know, that friendship could have gone nowhere, but it's important to have people like, hey, I want to help this person. I want to make them feel welcomed,
Right.
you know, and like I said, the friendship could have gone nowhere, but it, you know, it did. But it's nice to know that there are people out there that are always like welcoming to at least like introduce you to other moms, because like, yeah, maybe you didn't hit it off with her, but she introduced you to Sally, and you and Sally really got along, you know, so, and it opened up other doors. So I think it's just important to always like find at least one person that's kind of on the in. But I mean, yeah, I feel like just as your kids get older, sometimes it dwindles down. And I feel like it's kind of nice, like where you're at, because then you kind of have more time for your husband. Like you said, like you don't really talk to him. You don't drive in. You don't talk to each other in the office. You know, it's just, you're kind of on, I mean, I don't want to say like a normal couple, but a normal couple who just happens to work at the same place, you know, but
you're at the same place. We don't talk to each other about work. We don't, you know, and then the other thing I find is that like now, as my kids are going off on their own, right? And they're like doing their own thing. Yeah, I want to spend time with my husband, but I don't only want to spend time with my husband. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I love him, but I don't need to be with him 24/7. So it's like now, I feel now I need to make friends, because I need to have a hobby of some sort or do something, but I don't.
Hence this.
Yes, hence this. Because that was the other thing, is like, I've tried scrapbooking. I suck.
Don't you feel like it gets
suck.
pricey?
It gets pricey. And the other thing is that, again, with my ADHD, I do things like full force. So, like, I went and bought, like, everything under the sun for my yearbooks. I mean, for my scrapbooks. And then I think I did 4 pages. And then I was like, yeah, this is enough. And I'm done. You know what I mean? So, and then my husband's like, like, every time I'm like, oh, I need this because I want to try this. And he's like, but do we need everything? Can you just like try it with 3 things, and if it lasts longer than 3 weeks, then maybe we could buy you more, because he knows that it's not going to last me 3 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like the treadmill that I made him get me during COVID. I've used it 4 times.
In your defense, you wanted a treadmill that had incline,
and he didn't get me one,
and he didn't get you that, so that's technically not your fault, but you definitely should use it. But like, why would you? I mean, he got it for you for like during COVID, but like then he makes you run outside every day.
Yeah, then we go outside, because I hate running inside because it's in the garage. Now let me tell you though, so it broke. The treadmill broke, and
how?
I don't know. It just stopped. Like it was
lack of use.
Cheap, probably, and it was cheap because he bought it cheap because he knew I wasn't going to use it. So I'm pretty sure he paid like $300 for it, which is not like a really great one.
Yeah.
And he couldn't use it because it was short. He didn't get a long one. So, like, his gait was too... So, he didn't like it. So, he just got a new one because my kids use it all the time. Like, my kids are the ones that use it.
So they broke it.
Yeah, that's... so, he just bought a new one, and it has an incline. So, I was like... And we put it in the... you know how, like, where the kids had their playroom? Mm-hmm. So, there's no playroom anymore because they're grown. So, I told him I want to make that, like, a little gym thing, and my oldest daughter wants like a punching bag, so I'm gonna look into getting her a punching bag, and that we could put out there, and then the treadmill that inclines and maybe get some overtime. But that was another thing. I was like, oh, I want to make it a gym, and he was like, yeah, okay, because you'll use the gym, because again, he knows me. You know what I mean? Like, So it's one of those things where it's like I need to find mom friends because I need to do something. But I want to find mom friends that have my hobby. Like I want to find somebody like maybe a workout buddy, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe, you know, somebody to just walk in the neighborhood with, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just something that's not going to take a lot of time, and maybe go out like at night on a Saturday night, you know what I mean? Like do something fun like that, but not want to do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like finding somebody on your level. Remember we talked about that, like with friends, like it's like if they're not, I need to find somebody in my, and I have my neighbor across the street. She's on my level. I just don't know if she likes me.
What's
you know
that
what I mean?
like?
I don't know. I mean, we've gone out to we've had lunch together. Her family came over my house. Her son is my oldest daughter's age, so they both just graduated. But it's like, I don't know that I feel like when they came over to our house, her husband said it twice, which kind of freaked me out. Because we were just being nice and neighborly, but he was like, we don't need any more friends. It's kind of like what he said. And I was like, okay. But then it seemed like she wanted friends, but he didn't. You know what I mean? So I was like,
You're not invited, sir.
Right, yeah, that's what I wanted to be like.
Who even asked you if you wanted to be friends?
Right. But yeah, nobody asked you. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to be a neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Invite you guys over because they moved during COVID, so we didn't get to meet them until like way after COVID. You know what I mean? Because they moved in and everybody was like, we can't meet anybody.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so it's like me and you are friends, but I don't get to see you all the time because again, your kids are at a different level than my children. So
and we live an hour away.
And we live an hour away. Yeah, but it's just like, and you know, your kids don't bother me, so you can bring them anytime.
Yeah, but they bother me sometimes. So
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's like you want to be able to get away sometimes, and you know, do stuff like that. So I think making friends is easy depending on what stage you are and where your kids are. Keeping those friends and maintaining those friendships are hard. You know, I think that's really what it boils down to. Like I said, I have my best friend in the whole wide world living in Maryland, and I talk to her we talk a lot on Facebook or Instagram, like we'll send each other stuff and stuff like that, but we have a conversation maybe twice a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't matter. She's still like, if I need her, I would be there, and I know she would be there, and the same, you know what I mean? So it's different, but if we lived closer, we'd be mom friends because her son is around my kid's age, you know what I mean? So like it would work, but just didn't happen that way. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and I feel like definitely moving is like, especially when you've already established those friends, because like you going back to work and your kids getting older, you still could have maintained those friendships. You could have, like you said, have somebody on your level. It's just the move. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you know, my husband's always willing to like, let's move here if the job opportunity opens up within the company, or let's go abroad. And like, while I would love to, I'm like, oh my God, I'm finally like getting established here in Georgia. And you know, even like the area, like we wanted a bigger house. We were like, do we move before my daughter was born? And I was like, I only want to stay in these 2 zip codes. My husband's like, you are making this like very unrealistic. I was like, listen, I just uprooted my whole life to like move down here. I want to be in the area I want to be in. Sorry. Like, you know, that's just how I want it. So it's like, I'm finally getting the hang of it now. So I'm like, I just want to stay put and, you know, I don't want to make new friends again. Unless we go back to Jersey, and then I already have the established friends. Yeah. So it's definitely harder. And I always appreciate you maintaining our friendship because we haven't even like, we started this podcast earlier back in April, but like we haven't worked together since literally 2021, like beginning of 2021.
Crazy.
So crazy. Like that's a long ass time, Jess.
That really That really is. Like, I know. Saying it.
Dude, it's 4 years.
Because I feel like we kept in touch the whole time. You know what I mean? Like it was just, we just maintained it because it was fun.
Wait, but we didn't even work together during COVID either. I just realized. No. So it's been 5 years actually that we haven't worked together. We worked together in the same building. We had different jobs for that last year I was there. But we haven't worked together in 5 years, which is so crazy because I feel like it really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. 5 years is a lot. Doesn't feel that
it's
long
a lot.
ago.
I had 2 full ass kids.
You had 2 whole children. Yeah, you did.
Literally, like 2 full children. That's wild.
Yeah, because you got pregnant right before when you were going to Thailand, remember? And you were,
Yeah.
when the COVID was there, remember?
Oh my God, I know. We was just talking about that.
I
I'll
still
have to
remember
tell
you
that.
calling me from the airport,
I was a mess.
being like, I don't think my husband wants to go.
Yeah,
Remember,
literally.
he wanted to cancel the trip.
He was, yeah, he was like, but we didn't know. I was like, you know what? F it. We're never coming back to Asia. We're about to have a baby. Like, what are we doing? Because at the time, like, it was like only from something you eat or only from like touching people. It was just so unknown. But I will say, like, coming back from Thailand while COVID was breaking out and having that, because we went to Thailand in January of 2020, and then coming back to the States and like everything about COVID just being like radio silent, wild. Because I'm like, does everybody know what's happening up there? Like,
They didn't.
You know,
They didn't.
I know, but I did. I saw the future.
Yeah, because you kept telling us. You were like, oh, yeah, there's
Yes.
this thing running around and your husband doesn't want to go. And I was like, that's stupid. Just go. Like, what are you talking about? And then March, they're like, and we're going to be working from
Everything's
home for
shutting
2
down.
weeks.
Just, I'll never forget. I always rag on my mom. Like, I love her, but she's a mom.
She's a mom.
Yeah, and a girl mom nonetheless. Like, you know how, you have daughters. Yep. So, but I remember when we were leaving for Thailand, we drove from Georgia to New Jersey. And I remember my mom calling me and she was like, Alyssa, there's this thing going around. It's starting in China, and I heard there's sicknesses in Thailand too. It's called this like coronavirus. I was like, Mom, please, nothing's gonna happen. You're exaggerating, or don't worry about it. I will say she always was the first one to tell me about that, and I literally to this day I'm like, you were 100% right about that. Like,
right.
Like because there's other times where I'm like, okay, whatever, but like I will never forget that. I'm like,
now in the back of your mind, you're like, she could be right.
No, at the time I did not think she was
not
right.
now. No, but I'm saying now that it happened, and now when she says stuff like in the back of your mind, you're like, maybe I should listen.
I think
that was crazy. I think, like you said, I think it's just trying to keep the relationship, and then the other thing that I don't have to worry about anymore. And it's like, and I wonder if like the friends that I had in Jersey would have all stayed my friends, because the other thing is that your children grow up, and then sometimes they don't like the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have that problem in New Jersey. My kids liked everybody that we were kind of friends with. But what if, like, as they got older, you know what I mean? Interests change. Like, I am still friends with a lot of the moms on Instagram, and like I see what their kids are doing, and it's very different than what my oldest daughter ended up doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, would they have stayed friends? You know what I mean? I would hope so, because you could still be friends and not have the same interests. But would they have been friends? And then that's awkward, because like, can you imagine your kid being like, no, I don't want to hang out with them? And it's like, what do you do? Because that's who you've been hanging out with. You know what I mean? And you're friends with them, so.
Yeah. Not that I necessarily feel like we kind of have that, but like we have one couple that used to be our neighbors, and they moved, but we still kept in touch because our kids are only 4 months apart. But like, they do have somewhat of different interests, so they don't really like love to play with each other. As they gotten older, it's gotten a little more like they want to do like soccer and sports. But all the other moms I know and I'm close with, they have daughters my son's age, so it's a little different, even the play date I went to this week, it was a girl that was my son's age, and at first they were like kind of doing their separate things, and then finally at the end they kind of were like playing with the same stuff. But it's just like a little difficult, because I know a lot of girls that are like my daughter's age, but I don't know a lot of boys that also have the same interests as my son, because my son's not very, like, he's not an aggressive kid. He likes to like play soccer, do sports and all that, but he's like, just by nature, he's like just mild-tempered, mild-mannered, all that stuff. So it's like, it's just hard. It's just interesting seeing other kids and sadly comparing, and then that kind of falls into like, do I want to be this mom's friend? Does my husband, do we want to be like cool with these parents? Right. So it's also like the kids, and there's just so many factors. So it's a lot.
And I feel like the kid factor is the worst, because it's like sometimes, and this is another reason why like I struggled. Like I said, in New Jersey, I didn't feel that we had this, but like I know both your kids and my kids we're on a strict schedule. We're very strict on like your grades, your this, that. And my fear is like, what if the kids that they're friends with, like as I get older, are not like that? Or their parents are very like nonchalant about school or nonchalant about disciplining them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that I'm stricter than my parents were. Well, I'm going to be honest. My husband's stricter than my parents were because I'm not strict at all. But I used to be able to just run the streets.
Do whatever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At my younger daughter's age, when I say run the streets, I always told my mom I was somewhere, but I was not there. You know what I mean? Like, so she doesn't know that I was running the streets. My mom wasn't just letting me, like, live my best life. She was just, I would be like, oh, I'm going to my friend's house. And then my friend would be like, oh, I'm going to Jessica's house. And then we would go somewhere else. That wasn't any of our houses. So.
Do you ever feel bad that your daughters will never be able to do that or didn't get to do that because you have the apps on their phone?
Yeah. I a little bit. I do a lot. Well, actually, I do a lot. But then I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like car accidents here are super much more than they were when I was growing up. And I feel like because the reason that I feel that it's different is because like, even though I was running the streets with my friends lived in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't traveling all over Columbia, Maryland. You know what I mean? Like, even when we got our cars, like when my best friend started to drive, we were in like a 5-mile radius of my house. You know what I mean? Like, we can walk to wherever we were driving to because all of our friends lived in our neighborhood or like 2 neighborhoods away from us. Whereas my friends, my daughters, their friends are all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, they're not in our neighborhood. They don't have neighborhood friends because I don't know about you, but our neighborhood kids don't play outside. They don't play together. Even the buses, like my across the street neighbor who's in my daughter's grade, he has a different bus because he's on a different side of the neighborhood than my daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like there are kids on one side of the school on one side of the neighborhood that don't even ride the same bus. Like, we rode the bus with everybody in our neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had like one unified bus stop and everybody was on it. So I feel like it's different nowadays. But yeah, there are some times where I'm like, oh, they missed out on it. Like, my friend, they still had they have sleepovers with their friends. They have that kind of stuff, but they don't have the freedom of field parties. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going, my older daughter can do it now because even though, what are we going to do, drive to Kennesaw and be like, you can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do that. But yeah, like, you have field parties and like my oldest daughter can go to the Battery at any time she wants. You know what I mean? It's like 10 minutes down the road.
Oh my God, yeah.
If you think about it, right? I'm not going to, so she will get to do that stuff. She's just going to be older. And I feel like maybe a little bit more responsible. Because I was not responsible. Good. I was drinking in a field. You know what I mean? Like, and wine coolers.
See, I was not.
Like I wasn't doing. I know you weren't. Yeah. I know you weren't. But when I say I was drinking in a field, the field was my backyard. Because, like, we lived next to the field. So my mom could have came out on the deck and been like, Jessica, and I would hear her and I would be in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different. I feel like it's different.
I actually feel like, because like where I used to live in New Jersey, it was kind of like how you're describing like your situation with your daughters right now. It's like everything was very far. You had to get in the car. There was no like backyard or anything. Like, I had a friend down the street that I would go to so much because she was like, I could walk to her house. Shout out because she does listen to our podcast. She's an avid listener. Thank you. But I would always go to her house. But like my other friends, like I wasn't like, I couldn't just walk there. I'd be like, I would have to walk for an hour to get, to where I wanted to go. But I do feel like here, because my neighborhood doesn't have a lot of kids. There's maybe like 3 other houses that have kids my kids' age. But I feel like there are a lot of kids that will go to the same school they'll go the same schools as my kids, but they'll be in the same area. They won't be like, because everything is so, like you said, across the street is a different school.
Right.
Not in the same, well, our neighborhood goes to all the same thing.
Ours is too. I was just saying that they ride different buses. They just ride different buses to get to school.
But like literally across the street from us, like we live in our neighborhood, main road, and then literally across the street is a different school. And even around the corner, they go to a different high school. So it's very like little. So I do feel like when my kids go to school, hopefully their friends will be in a very close vicinity, that if they do have to drive somewhere when they're like of high school age, that it will literally be like a max 10-minute drive.
Right.
Because I do feel like I couldn't do a lot of those things. And like, yeah, growing up, I was pissed at my parents because I couldn't do these things. But like now I'm like, yeah, that area is dangerous. Like we had a lot of deer, we had bears, we had, there was a lot of components. So like, I don't fault my parents for doing that. But yeah, it's crazy. And I want them to maintain those friendships, and I want to maintain those friendships with the moms. Like, even the mom that I hung out with this week, our kids will go to different elementary schools and middle schools, even though we're 9 minutes down the road from each other. And I was like, maybe we'll have a high school reunion. Even though technically my son isn't zoned for that high school, but everybody goes there in our neighborhood, like because of the lottery, you could just go there and we're technically closer. So he will probably go there too, depending how things like shake out. But it's like, we'll keep in touch and then hopefully we get a reunion, in like 10 years.
And hopefully
so
those kids like become
stay.
Friends again. Or stay friends, and so I think that's what it is. I feel like growing up it was very different because also we were on swim team, which was a neighborhood thing, all of like the whole neighborhood, so it was like we were always together all the time. So whereas like I'm not making mom friends, my mom knew every parent of my friends because we all lived in the same neighborhood, and it was like a village. And I feel like that's the difference nowadays, is that there are no villages. You know what I mean? Like, there are people in my neighborhood that I can trust 100%. My next door neighbor came over and saved my daughter because a lizard got in the house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so I have a village, but he has a 2-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like our kids would never play together. But it's just, I don't know. I think it's hard. It's hard. And like, there are friends. But again, they have a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's nice, but when we go to their house,
and they don't need any more friends.
Well, no.
Different people.
That's the people across the street. My next door neighbor, they love us, and they love my daughters. Like, I mean, love my daughters. My daughters walk their dog and like all of that stuff. But it's hard to we get together as a family, but they have a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's hard. You know what I mean? So I think that's what the issue. I think it's just trying to maintain those friendships is hard. You know?
For sure.
And I just, I think it gets easier as the kids get older, because you don't have to you could just be friends with the moms and you don't have to worry about your kids being friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as they're not enemies and nobody's bullying anybody.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So curious to know if you guys, how you have made mom friends. We'll comment down below, or we'll put a little thing on Instagram. Yeah. Yeah, let us know how you created those friendships with other moms and how you maintain them. I think the maintenance is big.
The maintaining is what I want to know. How are you maintaining those
how are you maintaining friendships?
And if you're maintaining those friendships, are your kids still friends? And if they aren't, how are you maintaining those friends? Because I feel like that's the hardest one.
So we are going to end this episode because we are almost an hour and 30 minutes in. And we want to just let you digest this one. So you will get another mini episode of Wives on the Island, strictly pop culture. So stay tuned for the next one.
Okay, bye.